So if we can go ahead and get started with some elected officials. I did see a representative from the mayor's office, Remy Salas. Are you here? Do you want to say a few words? I just have to say that, you came to us probably like 4 months now, 3 months you've been working with us. And you have done so much more than most of the representatives that we've had before. So thank you so much for keeping us informed, for coming to the sanitation meetings, for making sure that you're involved even with Spaceworks from the ground up. So I thank you so much for always caring about CB10 and fitting us into your agenda.
Thank you so much. I know many of you guys don't know me, but before I got my title as the Manhattan Director for the mayor's office, I'm a Harlem native, so the good and the bad, just please always feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help, and also make sure I inform the mayor about all the community items that you can possibly work together with. So my name is Remy Salas. I will leave some of my cards, so if you guys ever have an opportunity to send, if you have an opportunity to give me any input in the community, please do. Thank you.
Next we have a speaker, Damanje, from the District Attorney of New York's office.
Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Damanje Machudi. I'm the Community Coordinator for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. My telephone number is 212-335-9302. I'm just going to briefly talk about some of our summer highlights that happened in June, and also want to congratulate CB10 and with the 20th precinct as well for a successful National Night Out that happened last month in August as well. So to honor Gun Violence Awareness Month, in June, our office hosted our office hosted two events, one first of its kind. The first one was the Art of Healing, which is a festival event which features activities and designs to help trauma of gun violence with local partners, local partners and organizations as well. This event was led by the youth, so a lot of the youth were very creative and talked about how gun violence affected them, which was awesome as well. We had a guest speaker, which her name was Alea Eastman from the Parkland shooting in Florida. She was also one of our guest speakers. She talked about how that incident in Florida affected her, and she was a big advocate about gun violence. The second event we had here in West Harlem at Salem United Methodist Church with our annual gun buyback. That gun buyback was a partnership with NYPD. Individuals anonymously were able to return their guns with no questions asked and return for a gift card. One of the ways our office is trying to do different creative ideas to create safety environments for the borough of Manhattan and for our Harlem natives. And we have one more event. I'm not going to speak about it because Linda, as you may know, is the director of our Harlem office. She's not here yet. She'll be here in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and she's going to talk about that event that's happened in October. And for those who don't know, we have our state office building, our satellite office at the state office building, which is 163 125th Street, Suite 733. The telephone number there is 212-864-7884. Once again, it's open to the public. We take a lot of referrals, and also we take a lot of complaints as well. So it's here for the community. We welcome you if you want to stop by. Our office is 9 to 5. Once again, that telephone number is 212-864-7884. And then my name is Damanje Machudi, Community Coordinator for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. And then my telephone number is 212-933. 212-335-9302. A lot of numbers. I will be here until the end of the meeting. 212-335-9302. And I have my business cards for those who are seeking to get connected as much as possible. Thank you all. Oh, listen, she's here. So, hold on. Good evening. Welcome back. I hope you all had as enjoyable a summer as possible. Once again, my name is Linda Janae. I am the director of the Manhattan District Attorney's Harlem office. And I think that every time I come before you, I talk about my office and domestic violence. So let me tell you why.
When you hear the police department and District Attorney Vance talk about every major crime category dropping, they're absolutely right. Every major crime category is dropping, except for domestic violence. I am the director of an office that has victim advocates and counselors, and we spend all day providing, 5 days a week, providing services to crime victims, and sometimes on weekends. And I would say to you, overwhelmingly, the percentage of our crime victims are victims of domestic violence. So they have been injured by someone they are intimately involved with, someone who they're related to by blood, or someone they have a child in common with. And so I see domestic violence victims all day long. And so I'm very, very passionate about it. So October has been recognized nationally as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we're kicking it off with our 4th annual Shine the Light on Domestic Violence in Harlem event. It's scheduled to take place on October the 1st. It's a two-parter. At 5:30, we have marchers, or I should say walkers, from 4 different locations throughout Harlem. There's a walk that starts in front of Harlem Hospital. There's a walk that starts at 125th Street in St. Nicholas, over by Christina Curry's building. There's a walk that starts on 116th Street and 8th Avenue. That one is led by the Children's Society, or used to be Children's Aid Society. And then we have the 4th point, which is 125th and 5th. And that march is headed by the Upper Manhattan Legal Services. So you'll be able to identify the walkers because they will be the people walking and screaming and carrying these purple balloons. And so the walk ends at the State Office Building at 6 o'clock, where we'll have a ceremony and some really heart-moving presentations and performances. So we hope that you will join us. We hope you'll lend your voice to our cause and join us to combat domestic violence. I have flyers outside in English, in Spanish, and I also have them in black and white. So please, take the flyer, join us. If you know of any organizations that want to participate, please let them know. My phone number is on the flyer. Feel free to contact me. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'd be remiss if I did not say this event is also co-sponsored by the Borough President's Office. Is anyone here? Athena, are you anyone here from the Borough President's Office? Okay, so they're our co-sponsors, and they'll also be joining us at the event. Thank you.
Are there any other people or individuals representing elected officials today? So we're going to go ahead and get started with our public speakers. If we can, again, please have all the community board members in the first 2 rows. Ms. Jacqueline Carter-Brown. All right. I'm going to go ahead to Angelica Gregory.
Hi, I'm Angelica. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and I'm here speaking on Art for New York. It's a nonprofit organization that uplifts the elderly or isolated communities through theater, music, dance, and visual arts. So how did I get here? I came to New York to go to grad school at Columbia to study theater, and while I was there, my grandmother, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So I would travel back and forth to DC during the weekends to help my father take care of her. And during the later stages, the only thing that she responded to was Shakespeare sonnets and Bible verses. So when she passed away, I was so heartbroken. She raised me from an infant, and I didn't know what to do but to go to a nursing home to give back, because that's what my grandmother taught me. So I went and I volunteered with Mimi and Hope for New York at Upper East Side Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. And afterwards, they had a reading program. And I said, okay, they have a reading program. Shakespeare helped my grandma. I'm gonna invite my roommates and my friends and anyone who would listen, people I met on the train, and I'm gonna invite them to read sonnets. It has soon evolved. 2 years later, we're a nonprofit, and we do sit-in paints, we do musicals, we do dances, senior parties. It really is a blast, and it helps ground me as an artist, but also as a human in this crazy city. So I'm here because this little black girl is on the Upper East Side, empowering the elderly, and I really want to bring it to Harlem. I went to Harlem Hospital for an appointment, And I was so distraught, not only by the building itself, but the resources that were there. And all I know is art. That's what saved me, and that's what I want to give to other people. So, given the opportunity from Jason and Troy, I'm speaking because I hope to create the program at Harlem Hospital where we can uplift the elderly through art there. That's my 2 minutes. I have about 1. Okay. Any questions? We have brochures. Everyone from Art for New York, not everyone, but a couple of people are here and they can hand out brochures. Alicia, Mimi, Jerry, Olivia, and Lauren. We're a diverse group, as you can see. And Lazaro. Any questions? I have not. I would love to be connected. Okay. Is there someone I can speak to? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Next, I believe we have Taj Marian from Bill Perkins' office to talk about the participatory budget.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Taj Marian, Community Liaison for Councilman Bill Perkins. I'm here to talk to you all about participatory budgeting. The councilman has set aside $1 million of capital discretionary funds for the community to spend. This is a 7-month process that actually starts now. We have 3 neighborhood assemblies in the month of September, from September 17th at the PAL Polo Grounds Cornerstone, Saturday, September 22nd, 1325 Fifth Avenue, Thursday, September 27th at the Harlem Branch Library. The 3 phases, the first phase is where we collect ideas from the community. The second phase is where those ideas are discussed and reviewed and put on a ballot for our constituents to vote on. And then the third part is where the residents of the community vote on those potential proposals, and the councilman will fund them up to $1 million. There are flyers outside by the signing table. Please come out. We're looking forward to our community support and participation. And if there are any questions, I'll take them. Yes, sir. My name again is Taj. I'm spelling for you T-A-H-J. Last name is Berrien, B-E-R-R-I-E-N. And the telephone number is 212-678-4505. And our district office is across the street at the state office building, 7th floor, suite 729. Thank you. Yes, question.
What was the, you said you were talking about a meeting where it goes to the ballot, what's up there?
So that's talking about the neighborhood assemblies. So the neighborhood assemblies where residents of District 9 come together, and we provide a presentation on what participatory budgeting is, what projects can be funded, what can't be funded. City agencies also come out as well to discuss, the different budget proposals and everything.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have District Leader Cordell Clare.
How's everybody? I hope you had a great summer. Everybody's good? Good, it's good to be back. I'm going to be very brief. I applaud the reopening of the 110th Street and Frederick Douglass Boulevard subway station. I think it's really nice, but I think it could have been nicer. And we are still going to continue to fight for handicap accessibility. We have a community that's full of people who can use those services, and we have to continue to fight for that. That should have been a community conversation in the first place, and we could have maybe been opening it up with handicap accessibility right now. But we're not giving up on that fight. We're going to continue. I'm going to talk to you briefly. September 13th. Everybody knows what that is? That's Election Day, people. And I need you this year, especially to tell people it's September 13th. Because normally our elections are held on the Tuesday. And this year it's on a Thursday. You gotta remind people, even some of your, most responsible voters, they're programmed, to come out on that Tuesday, and we could forget that it's on Thursday due to the Rosh Hashanah holiday that's coming up. So I want to make sure that you let all your neighbors know, remind them, it's Thursday, September the 13th. The African American Day Parade, that's our parade. And it's going to be held on September 16th, so we want everybody to come out and support the parade. I want to just mention that last month, the board committee, the Economic Development Committee, had a meeting, and I want community participants on this issue because it seems that our neighborhoods are becoming saturated with establishments that provide liquor. Now, I'm a drinker. I do drink. Occasionally, in moderation, and occasionally. But there are a number of establishments, it seems as if every establishment that comes forward cannot do it without getting a liquor license. And that's not good economic development. We have to find ways that businesses can make money, rents can't be so high that people have to constantly. We know and we've suffered from some of the damages that liquor and other substance abuse has caused in our community, and I just don't think that we need to continue to constantly promote them. They don't need to be everywhere. We don't want to have so many in such a small area. And specifically, I'm talking about right now the 116th Street area where the Mosque Malcolm Shabazz is located. There's currently 2 establishments that are about to open up with liquor right next door. And I don't think that that's fitting. I think that there are other places it can be. It is disrespectful in some ways. But I think that we have to work on it as a community because we don't want to prohibit anybody from opening businesses, but we want to do more than just offer our community opportunities to drink.
Now we have Mark Baez.
Beautiful.
How's everyone doing? Right. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. As you know, we've been fighting along with Cordell. Where is she? Along with Cordell, the 110th Street subway station. And I wrote a public statement yesterday, and I want to share it with you. Back in April, the Metropolitan Authority, the MTA, closed down the entrance to the 110th Street subway station on Frederick Douglass Boulevard for renovation. The new renovation did not include an elevator for people with disabilities who are denied access, nor seniors, mothers with strollers, pregnant women, and shoppers who are inconvenienced as a result. As of today, the able-bodied community can enjoy access to the subway station, while the disability community is denied equal access to the same subway station. What makes this situation particularly egregious is the fact that not a single station on the B and C lines on the Upper West Side is accessible, nor are there plans to make them accessible as well. They have also closed or will be closing 3 other stations along the route and 1 in Washington Heights with no plans to make them accessible. We need to make everything accessible for people with disabilities, Stevie Wonder said at the 58th Grammy Awards. The Americans with Disability Act, ADA, became law in 1990. The ADA is a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in all areas of public life, including jobs, schools, transportation, and all public and private places that are open to the general public. Under the new leadership of the New York City Transit President Andy Byford, remarkable advances have been achieved. Yet, it is clear as day that the MTA has failed to protect the civil rights of people with disabilities because they do not ensure that reasonable accommodations are made when renovating a new subway station, as specifically cited by the ADA. In his lawsuit, the MTA Jeffrey S. Berman, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, said, "There is no justification for public entities to ignore the requirements of the ADA 28th year after its passage. The subway system is a vital part of New York City's transportation system, and when the subway station undergoes a complete renovation, MTA and New York City Transit Authority must comply with its obligations to make such stations accessible to the maximum extent feasible. In conclusion, it is blatantly disrespectful, unscrupulous, un-American, and insensitive to make renovations to subway stations across the city without our input. If anything, the MTA violated the spirit of the ADA. Yours truly, Morton Byers.
I just asked him to send us a copy, the community board, a copy of that, and I will share that with Raquel Vasquez because that echoes the sentiments that we had previously made to MTA about the accessibility issue. So please, thank you for sending me that. Next we have Sabrina Ellis. You are representing State Senator Brian Benjamin. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Sabrina Ellis. I am the district office coordinator and the constituent manager for Senator Brian A. Benjamin. How are you doing this evening? Good. So first, I'd like to thank all of those that came out and participated in the senior day on last Wednesday that Senator Brian A. Benjamin and Councilman Bill Perkins gave on last Wednesday. It was beautiful. We had some 700, 600 people that showed up. It was plenty of food, plenty of entertainment, resources, and everyone enjoyed themselves. So we want to thank all of those who participated not only in helping to make it a great and a memorable senior day, but also all the seniors that came out and enjoyed themselves. Also, I'd like to mention that Senator Brian A. Benjamin secured a $100,000 grant for the street corner resources. The street resources mobile unit bus. This has been a long time coming, and so we are so happy that the Senator was able to make that happen. I also would like, just as way of an announcement, on Tuesday, September 25th, 2018, at 6 p.m. from 6 to 9 on 104 West 136th Street, corner of Lexington Avenue. We will be having a task force next. It's Join New York State Senator Brian A. Benjamin and his young adult task force for Task Force Next for live performances, action to get out to vote for the midterm election on National Voters Registration Day. Also, I also like to make mention that after the family separation crisis, Senator Brian A. Benjamin organized an uptown rally and introduced legislation to hold the federal government accountable for children held in New York State. That's right. Excellent. And also, last but not least, with community members, and the Senator recently got the city and state to deny the permits for methadone clinics being placed in inappropriate places. We are working, thank you. We are working with the city to find a better location for these essential services. So on behalf of Senator Brian A. Benjamin and my team, thank you so much for this moment. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Sister Aisha Sekou from Street Corner Resources.
Peace and blessings, family. Hope all is well. We are, I'm going to start from this. Y'all have to start talking about my 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
One, I really want you to know, and I want you to spread the word, that within our catchment, we were first given by the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice. We came into 8 shootings, 4 people killed, and 4 people shot when we first got our contract 2.5 years ago. I'm proud to say today that we stand here with no homicides in over 746 days. Crime has been reduced. Homicides have been reduced in the 32nd precinct area by 26%, and a lot of that is due to our Speak Peace Forward team and our interruption and de-escalation. And so we want to pass the word, especially to those who said it couldn't be done. Here it allows. Remember we talked about this a lot, that it can be done. So I want to also say thank you to Senator Brian Benjamin for the $100,000. People are saying I have millions. I don't have millions. It's not my money. But we will be bringing the mobile unit forth that the community board, Henrietta Rouse, you know you wrote a letter for us some years ago and some of you supported wholeheartedly. And I know y'all got tired of me talking about it, but I know that persistence makes things happen, and this is the proof. And we thank Senator Brian Benjamin for helping make that happen. Also, in all fairness, the Mayor's Office on Criminal Justice has also issued us a mobile unit that will be rolled out. The $100,000 will ensure high technology, everything that we need, staffing and everything. So together, the Mayor's Office on Criminal Justice, the Anti-Gun Violence Prevention Program, all of that, in unison with Senator Brian Benjamin, will be rolling out one of the toughest, finest, most technological mobile units that will move into communities providing education, employment, training, some fun activity like creating music, and some other things to de-escalate, interrupt, intervene, and provide trauma services, counseling on the spot. So big up to the Mayor's Office on Criminal Justice, big up to Senator Brian Benjamin. I just want to say that last year, I was proud to announce around this time that we sent 4 young people to college. Well, I'd like to announce that we're sending 3, and 1 will go in January, so that's another 4. So we're working on getting more to go, but that's what we have for right now. Every last Friday of the month, we have something called a Peace Cafe. Your tax dollars from the City Council pays for young people and the community to be constantly engaged in bringing talent, but not just to bring talent, to come together, elders and young people talking to each other, creating community and having fun at no cost to them. The last Friday of every month, it's the Peace Cafe. We have flyers, somebody on the team give them out, and we're happy to invite you. It's our community engagement. We have been doing that for the last 2 years. And I'd just like to say that our 2 music studios, one at Harlem Renaissance High School and the other one on 145th Street, is still engaged in engaging young people in producing music, making beats, engineering, and now creating film. So if there's anyone who want to volunteer, offer your expertise, we're welcome to it. And last but not least, because I know my time is just about up, we are marching in the African American Day Parade. I know I saw Ken Morrison here. Thanks to him, we have t-shirts for the first 200 and something people that show up. And so we're glad for his support in the parade. But we'll be marching, and we invite you to come and march with us. So all we need is your shirt size, your name, and a telephone number. And you can see Tanae for that. Or either we'll leave a sign-in sheet, because I know we won't be able to stay the entire time. I think that's it for us. You can reach us on 145th Street between Are you the backup? I wish you would. All right, I know it's my time is up. Peace and blessings. I do love my community and my community board. Peace and blessings.
Ms. Ellis is going to leave her card out there for anyone who wants to contact her. Again, she is the representative from Senator Brian Benjamin's office. Next we have Dr. Kay Samuels, followed by Jacob Morris, representing the Harlem Historical Society.
Just a couple of items I want to talk about. I was going to talk about 2 books, but I'll wait until next month to talk about that I think people should read. One relates to how basically Harlem was sold out, and the other one is called Harlem is Gone, which was written by a sister who went through the process of the whole 125th Street thing. But I basically have 2 statements to make. One, for those of you who don't know, and you've seen me get up here for almost 20 years to talk about a decent library for the people in North Harlem. Manhattan Community Board 10, Negro politicians, and the Manhattan Borough President who appoints the people on Community Board 10 support educational apartheid, as evidenced by their support for the library for niggas that's going to be located in North Harlem. Nothing funny about this. I brought this to this board for over 10 years. They did nothing about it until the New York Public Library found an inadequate space. And then I guess it made it easy for them to go ahead along with it, to accept it, without even board members being aware of it. I was sitting in the Landmarks Committee, and one of the employees walked in to give a statement that was supported by the chair and the Landmarks chair. That's how I found out about it. Although I had written them an email, nobody ever responded. To this day, no one has responded. Because I just feel like they just don't feel like they have to. I understand that it was supposed to be somebody from the Borough President's office involved in this process who came to the meetings. I don't know who that person is. They never introduced themselves to me. There was also supposed to be somebody from the Congressman's office. I don't know who that person is. They never introduced themselves to me. So apparently, it was determined that this sad situation, library situation, was acceptable for that predominantly black community by this board, by the borough president, by the Negro politicians, by the congressman, or wouldn't have happened. That's my first statement. Second statement is this. It's sad for us to get to the point where we have to go and support manufactured politicians and judges that support sanitization of records in order to get support for needed community projects. The community should not have to kiss anybody's behind when you are a constituent and you need something for your community. That's not how it's supposed to go. These politicians work for the community, not the reverse. And it should not be that you have to support them to get what you need for your community. I'm glad when people get something that the community needs. But it should not be brought because you're kissing butt or you're supporting somebody. It should be because the community needs it. I don't have to like you, and you don't have to like me to know that certain community needs. And by the way, while you're having all these nice little meetings and groups for senior citizens, think about the working senior citizens who can't get there during the day. You need to provide something for them as well. God bless the village of Harlem. Good night, everybody.
Now we have Mr. Morris from the Historical Society.
Thank you. Jacob Morris Home Historical Society. How many people here know when Harriet Tubman escaped from slavery? Don't everyone raise their hand at once. She escaped from slavery the 17th of September, 1849. I tell people this, and they're surprised. But immediately they know how historically significant her escape from slavery was, and is, to this day. So I had the opportunity to come across a wonderful, wonderful actress lady who does reenactments of Harriet Tubman. And we decided to retain her, to do a free show here in Harlem on the anniversary of Harriet Tubman's escape from slavery. On the 17th of September at the 124th Street Library at 5:30. So everyone's invited. I hope that there's flyers out on the table in front. Please put the date down, tell all your friends. The price is right. It's going to be a full show by this wonderful lady, Christine Dixon. She is very renowned for the quality of her reenactment of Harriet Tubman. She really, really brings her to life. And I have a feeling that it'll be a wonderful thing for all of us to enjoy and think about. In the course of me stopping by the library, I stopped by the National Black Theater this afternoon and spoke with the general manager. And it was about 10 years ago, in front of this board, that we got street namings approved for Billie Holiday and Zora Neale Hurston. And this afternoon, the National Black Theater has agreed to co-sponsor, finally, real ceremonies to honor Billie Holiday and Zora Neale Hurston. Of course, we'll have the ceremonies on the corner with the unveiling of the street signs, and our wonderful elected officials will get their chance to shine. The pulling of the cord and the sleeve over the sign, and getting the newspapers and stuff. But then we're looking forward to have a wonderful free reception at the National Black Theater in conjunction maybe with a play or some musical show in regards to the course. So I feel really, really good about this collaboration, and I love this board. We've accomplished many great things, and I'm looking forward to getting other great ladies like Maya Angelou honored in the near future. Thank you.
Next we have Kim Smith from the 28th Precinct Clergy Council, followed by, I believe, it's Naomi. Okay, we are next, Doctor. Good evening, everyone. I am Kim Smith. I am the Special Events Project Manager for the 28th Precinct Clergy Council. It is a new council. It was founded in May of 2017. And to commemorate their 1-year anniversary, we're having a 1-year inaugural interfaith breakfast. I left flyers out / invitations. It's going to be held at the United House of Prayer on Thursday, September the 27th, 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. We are honoring people. We have Reverend Dr. Renee Gardner will be the keynote speaker. And if you look at the flyer, we have just a plethora of people that will be honored, not the normal elected officials. No slight to the electeds, we appreciate them, but oftentimes it's the people that are on the ground that are doing the work that are often not honored and not recognized. And we did not want to, miss an opportunity as we look to be a force in the community as far as clergy is concerned. And the purpose of the 28th Precinct Clergy Council is to support the 28th Precinct in prayer. We do fasting as well, but uplifting the precinct as well as the community. When there are shootings, oftentimes the clergy, the chaplains are often called by the police officers or the deputy inspectors to come out and to be a support. So we're inviting each and every one of you, we're asking you to please RSVP. We have a wonderful time set aside, but we want to be able to accommodate everyone. So again, we're asking you to either RSVP via email or via telephone, and we can't wait to see you all. Again, that's Thursday, September the 27th at the United House of Prayer, located on between 125th and 124th Street on 8th Avenue. Great breakfast, wonderful time, and we hope to see you all there.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm Naomi Goldberg-Haas, and I run an organization called Dances for Variable Population. We promote strong creative movement among adults of all ages. We focus on older adults. Some of you may know our programs. They're called Movement Speaks. Our programs. Our offices are located in the Dempsey Building, but our programs are held in senior centers, community centers, recreation centers, libraries. And all of the sites are listed here. A number of them are in Harlem. We're at Kennedy Center for weekly program on Tuesdays. We're at St. Nicholas Senior Center on Thursdays. We're also at Canaan Senior Center, and we're also in a number of West Harlem sites. So please be sure and take a schedule. And we also have another program where we work with older dancers, and they give back what they know. Because dance has a lot to give back, right? So it not only helps you maintain and build your strength, but also your brain cells, your creativity. Okay, here's your schedules in here.
Now we'll have a word from Nina Saxon representing Comptroller Scott Stringer.
Good evening, Community Board 10. How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Good. Hi, for the new people that's here, do I really need this mic? No. Okay. For the new people that don't know me, my name is Nina Saxon. I work for the New York City Comptroller Scott Stringer. And as you know, I am his Harlem liaison, but I just got promoted to do NYCHA citywide. So the only thing that I'm going to talk to you about, because this is very important, in Harlem, we have the largest concentration of NYCHA developments in the whole entire country. I need you to understand that. I just gave you a flyer. The Comptroller is doing We the People, a public hearing on NYC's lead crisis. We are doing this in collaboration with Congressman Adriano Espaillat, Borough President Gail Brewer, State Senator Brian Benjamin, Assembly Member Inez Dickens, Assembly Member Robert Rodriguez, Assembly Member Al Taylor, Assembly Member Carmen De La Rosa, Council Member Bill Perkins, Council Member Udanis Rodriguez, Council Member Diana Ayala, and Council Member Mark Levine. That's how important this is. So I need help. I need real help. Because at this hearing, I need to make sure that there's families from NYCHA that's talking about the lead crisis, letting the Comptroller and other people that is going to be in that room, but I also need you in that room. Because I want them to understand that the people in Harlem, they don't play around. And this is very important. So I need you to share this. I email it to Community Board 10, to all your networks. I need Mr. Charles Powell to be here to say a statement. I need everybody, if you know any tenant leaders in NYCHA, I need them there. Everybody needs to be at this hearing. It should not be 10 people. It should be 200 people at this hearing. And I want to see my Harlem family take the lead on that. So are there any questions on this? Yes, my sister. Well, this is what I would say. He is the controller of the whole city, and even though this is a nature crisis, you can still come and, if you have an issue, also if you have mold issue, you can also bring that to the table, because I think sometimes mold and lead go hand in hand. But I need it to be packed. So I need everybody there. So yes, you can definitely bring other issues to the table. The date on this flyer is September the 17th. So we don't got a lot of time. I know a lot of things is going on, but let's not forget about the issues that our people are dealing with in our own communities. And I just want to make sure that this community is going to be there. Can I say that my people's going to be in the house on the 17th? Thank you very much.
Next we'll have Athena Moore representing Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer's office.
Hi everyone, good evening, how are we doing? Of course, Nina is the person to get us riled up on the front end, and I'll do it on the back end. How are we doing, Harlem? All right, so today I have with me my beloved colleague, Natalie Espinino. You will see her around at all of the meetings here in CB10 as well as CB11. She's one of our newest community liaisons, but she's not new to Harlem or Northern Manhattan. She's been working in the past in government. She's worked for Councilmember Levine as an example, but she's worked for numerous other nonprofits and other government entities. We will continue to tag team here at CB10, but you may know or remember that Giovanni Puello, who was here some time ago, was one of my staff who also was liaison to this board, and he and I tag team. Now, as director of the Northern Manhattan office, I get to, just step back just a little bit, not much, and resume my role as director, but have the additional team member in Natalie. So today's report, Natalie will give it, and I will be here just to add additional input. All right, thanks.
Good evening, CB10. Good evening, neighbors. I'm very excited to be here. Don't worry, I'm not going to let it go far. I'm always excited to connect with board members. I was a member of Community Board 12 myself, so I know what it's like to be in these trenches and in these long meetings. I salute your service. We have a few announcements. Welcome back, by the way. I hope everybody had a great summer. Wanted to catch up on some of the things that have been going on. An update on the charter revision process. The City Charter Revision Commission for 2019 is the commission that's led by the borough presidents, the New York City Council, and the New York City Public Advocate's Office. They'll begin holding hearings this month. All community boards should be establishing a task force to discuss issues and make recommendations to send to the wider commission for the November 2019 ballot. We'll be sharing information really soon that describes the process in detail and the long-term schedule of public hearings. The first public hearing for Manhattan will be September 12th, 6 to 8. The location is still to be announced, so stay in touch with us. Wanted to just mention the issue of development and city planning loopholes. Over the summer, the Manhattan Borough President's Office released a letter to the City Planning Commission that we refer to as the loophole letter. I have a few copies outside on the resources table for anybody who wants to see it. It's also on our website. The letter asks the City Planning Commission to examine how developers have been exploiting loopholes in the very rezoning laws that are meant to prevent out-of-scale development in order to build these really tall buildings while providing really very few benefits to the community to offset those negative impact on communities and their infrastructure. The borough president, along with city council members from the entire borough of Manhattan, signed on to the letter and asked the City Planning Commission to close these loopholes and put an end to this overwhelming out-of-context development. that is usually contrary to the wishes of community members like you. CRM. Anybody know what CRM means? Anybody? Okay. So the Borough President's Office is going to be working with community board offices and community board members with DOIT, D-O-I-T-T, to produce customer relationship management programs that assist with constituent services tracking. So constituent name, their buildings, their issues. So if you guys can give a think about how you're doing this currently and what kind of software you may want to acquire, what kind of tools you need to track your constituent services and do a better job of getting that information down. Let us know, and you're going to be hearing from folks from our office to get your feedback on that. Wanted to just give an update on the Mart 125. The Borough President's Office continues to work with CB10 and the community on the future of the Harlem Mart in response to great community opposition for plans to use it as a digital workspace. Heard most recently at the June 25th Town Hall. The MBPO and CB10 asked the EDC and the DCA, because we like letters, to reopen the RFP and open the call for proposals for the use of that space and conduct very thorough community engagement, beginning with the stakeholder meeting to take place this fall, so stay tuned for those details. An update on 145th and Lenox at the 3 train station. Our office continues to work with CB10 and the community residents to facilitate those discussions with MTA and city agencies so that the ongoing construction at 145th Street Station moves forward with community input about the impact of those disruptions and that construction work on the community's quality of life. Sir, I appreciate the statement you read. We did take a tour of one of these C stations that opened up, and as beautiful as it was, we were very disappointed in that it was not made accessible. So we continue from our office to work so that this is taken into consideration as a priority for station renovations. The Harlem Historic District, just an update on that. The Borough President's Office, in collaboration with CB10 and Save Harlem Now, facilitated a community testimony before the Landmarks Preservation Commission regarding the creation of a Harlem Historic District on Lenox Avenue between 130th and 132nd Street. So conversations are ongoing with that. Just wanted to make a mention that the Borough President joined other elected officials to mobilize community groups, tenant organizations to prevent the opening of a methadone clinic at 730 St. Nicholas Avenue. So we appreciate the cooperation and the work that made that happen. Our exciting events, you've heard some folks already mention the African American Day Parade celebration. This year, the theme of the celebration is culture, and the Borough President will be recognizing the contributions of African American cultural achievers. So the lunch reception will take place September 14th. That's our office's reception. So that will be Friday, September 14th, 6 to 8 at the Schomburg Center, 515 Malcolm X Boulevard. Sunday the 16th, of course, is the parade. If you would like to march with the Borough President's contingent, please contact our office, and we will be meeting at the corner of 111th and Admiral Clayton Powell. I wanted to mention a charity symposium that is taking place, sponsored by the Borough President and Attorney General Barbara Underwood in collaboration. It will be taking place at the Cooper Union Building. We're expecting maybe 1,000 people. So this is an event that you're going to want to RSVP for. But this is an organization that has gone across the state sponsoring these symposium for nonprofit leaders and charity groups, because there are so many in Manhattan, it's going to fill to capacity. So that is 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on September 21st. 7 East 7th Street is the location of the reunion. We have updates on the conversation on Rikers Island. There will be a Manhattan public hearing September 27th, 6 p.m. at the mezzanine of the municipal building at 1 Center Street. There will also be a mayoral town hall co-sponsored by the borough president and Councilmember Chen. That will be September 12th, 6 p.m. at PS 124 in Chinatown. And I will have to apologize, I don't have the address on that right now. Did want to make mention of the NYCHA hearings that there will be testimony gathered on September 26th at 500 Pearl Street for the class action lawsuit. This is a federal hearing, and testimony will begin at 9:30. Contact our office for more details about that. We will be having our My Brother's Keeper event in Harlem on September 29th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Esperanza School, 240 East 109th. If you attended or followed the first event, which was very successful, these are great opportunities for parents, educational professionals, and youth to connect and move forward the conversation on the opportunity gaps for young men of color in education and professions. So RSVP for that, that'll be on our website. The Northern Manhattan office will have its ongoing SCREE workshops. The next one will be Monday, September 10th, 2 to 5 p.m. And want to make sure that we are very excited to announce the inaugural celebration of Grandparents' Day this coming Sunday, September 9th, 2 to 6 p.m. at the National Black Theater. That's 2031 Fifth Avenue at 125th Street. In collaboration with the New York City Department for the Aging, Holland Children's Zone, Harlem Advocates for the Elderly, and several of our partner elected officials and their staffs. We're hoping that this will be the first of many annual events.
All right. Fine. Harlem Advocates for Seniors, PSS Circle of Care, Assemblyman Al Taylor, Harlem Children's Zone, Assemblywoman Inez Dickens, Community Boards 9, 10, 11, 12, Senator Brian Benjamin. We have Community Board 10 Senior Task Force, Deborah Gilead has been represented in the planning. 125th Street bid, Barbara, thank you for promoting it and sending it out via the network. Congressman Adriano Espada, Aetna for Better Health of New York, they're providing support. We have a DJ Entertainment, Bill Perkins' office. The point is, and of course Comptroller Scott Stringer, the point is that this is a collective effort, it's for our seniors, and we want to make sure that everyone is aware of it because we've asked all of the senior centers to nominate individuals, and we will celebrate them. There'll be a video collage, there'll be photo booths, and lots of celebrations. So it's a collaborative effort. So we thank you, and I know the report in September are always long, but we look forward to continuing to work with you. And Natalie, thank you for Natalie's first report. Could you all give her a round of applause?
And now we have the invite, put it in Al Taylor's office.
Hello, Community Board 10. Welcome back. I hope everyone came back refreshed, well rested, and back at it again every month here. All right, so I'm here to report from you from Assemblymember Al Taylor. First on our list, I will be handing out the newsletters after I report. Ayfield Randolph Senior Center renovations. Those were a lot of questions and concerns we got in the office, so we kind of put this in the newsletter so that people can have more clarity around what's going on. There will be a renovation going on. I know some people were like, oh, is it closing? the food doesn't taste good. This is an issue. So in spring 2019, the current center at 108 West 146 will be closed, and they will move adjacent right next door to 106 West 146th Street. And they'll be there for about 2 years while the center at 108 is renovated. And then they will move back. And they're also working on food vendors because there have been complaints about the food, and they're working on getting food catered, and they're currently still waiting on more food bids. So we've been working closely with them and constantly looking for updates with that. Next is an update on the June listening tour. I know last time we saw each other, we were announcing it. So they occurred in June, on June 22nd. That was at Esplanade Gardens between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. And the other one we had that was in Community Bar 10 was at the Polo Grounds. And that was on Saturday, June 23rd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Many agencies were represented there, and constituents were able to voice their concerns, and agencies were there to listen. We had FDNY, we had 32nd Precinct, Department of Sanitation, NYCHA was there, Polo Grounds Management was there, and you can read that in the newsletter. As you all know, 145th Street, the 3-line station is closed. It closed July 23rd and will reopen in November, sometime in November. So the Assemblyman had a hearing on that, and we had the second hearing after you all, and we had that at A. Philip Randolph Senior Center, which was right next door to the station. Don't forget to vote, September 13th, next week, Thursday, even though I know you all know that that is a Thursday. That will be your time to cast your ballot, so please do. We're also looking for interns, so if you know anyone, a young person, a recent college graduate, a current college student, please send them our way, and you can send them to the Chief of Staff, who is Mariela Rueda. Her email is rueda, M-R-U-E-D-A, M as in Mary, at nyassembly.gov. I'll send it to you. I'll say it again. I'm sorry. R-U-E-D-A, M as in Mary, at nyassembly.gov. And the fight against the HDFC crisis. So, last week, the Assembly member had an HDFC hearing, a panel hearing on HDFCs. That was on August 27th at the Myrna L. Daniels Auditorium at Columbia Presbyterian. And as we know, we've all been talking about this. The HDFC situation with foreclosures, constant foreclosures, has been a huge issue between renters, shareholders, people not knowing enough information on their rights. Has been a large issue, and that issue has grown exponentially in the 71st Assembly District. So the first forum was held, this will be a series of forums. The first forum was August 27th, again at Columbia Presbyterian. There will be 3 more hearings, and each hearing will have different panelists, and they will share their expertise. The next hearing is September 24th. That is also at Columbia Presbyterian, 173 Fort Washington Avenue at the Myrna L. Daniels Auditorium. That's September 24th. The next one is October 15th, and the next is November 5th. The times will be 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we saw a lot of we were 10 there. We had our Vice Chair, Charles Powell. We had Donna Gill there. So we saw you all there. So as you know, Assemblyman Al Taylor is the chair of the New York State Assembly Subcommittee on Predatory Lending. So with all the feedback and questions, concerns taken at the forum, they'll be taken back to Albany and used in his committee as well as given to the appropriate committee so that we can come up with a legislative solution. And next you will see just a summary review and photos that all of you have taken part of. And one of the photos are with your former district the assembly member was able to present him with a citation in person, and we took a photo. And I say bon voyage and congratulations. So thank you once again. My name is Nina White. I'm the constituent community liaison for Assemblyman Al Taylor, and I'll see you all soon.
Thank you so much. Next we have Shonell Washington, and then we will end up with Taureen Lacey and Nadira Ahmed.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chanel Washington. Hey, everybody. So I just want to make an announcement that 141st is having their block party on September 8th from 12 p.m. to 5:30. So we invite all you guys. Just look at my T-shirt. You know, 141st. Anybody that don't know me, 141st is a staple in the community. They fight for their block, and now I'm on that block, so y'all already know. That's all I gotta say. So we welcome you to come out. Thank you very much. Between Lennox and 7. I'm sorry.
Taureen Lacey, and then Nadira Ahmed. Okay, so you're after Mr. Lacey.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Torian. I'm a youth leader at Exodus Transitional. Just got promoted last month. September 10th, we're launching this program called Common Unity. It's a youth program for children from youth 14 and 24. We're going to break down the cycle. So the 14 and 17-year-olds will be Mondays and Wednesdays, 4:30 to 6:30. Older crowd will be 18 to 24, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 to 7. We located in East Harlem. East Harlem native, raised and everything. So we provide mentors with similar life experiences. I'll be one of the four. We facilitate educational workshops on trauma issues, social, and things that impact the community. I'm probably talking a little fast because I'm not as long as it's going to take, but yeah, things of that nature. So, and we do provide senators with stipends. They'll get our weekly stipends. We provide dinner every night and a 2-ride Metro card to get homes. I have a couple brochures, flyers, business cards. So if anybody's interested, any children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, I'm here. Just catch me when you can.
Mr. Lacey, and finally Nadira Ahmed.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nadira Ahmed, and I'm a member of the Veteran Family Life Inc., and we act for environmental justice. I'm here to address community board 10 members of the 70th Assembly, voting for election.
Excuse me 1 minute, ma'am.
And all registered voters who live in our community. I'm here to present to you 4 major issues that bother our community before the September 13, 2018 primary election and the November 6, 2018 general election. 1, there should be mandatory and annual monitoring of gas pipes, gas and electric meters, and ventilators for all New York buildings. 2, we need to fix all our broken, cracked, and uneven sidewalk. Right. Yeah, I'm a victim of that. I fell on 125th Street going up Martin Luther King Boulevard, and the line was uneven and on a slant, and I fell. I fractured my my foot bone, and I later had to have an abscess drained at Harlem Hospital. And the doctor told me I was very lucky because I'm 70 years old, and he said that most seniors actually die from tripping balls more than kidney failure. And these are little holes, uneven lines, cracks all around, even the projects. The mayor was in the city, Lincoln Projects, and he removed the scaffolds, but he left the grounds all cracked, and sinking holes for the children to play in. Okay, and the third issue. The third issue is the scaffolds that are put up in residential areas should let the community know when these scaffolds come up and why they are up, and the deadlines of when these scaffolds should come down. The most talked about block is West 138th Street between Malcolm X and Fifth Avenue. The block of Harlem Hospital Center, Ron Brown Pavilion, and the Alma Rango Gardens are located on 138th Street. We have Sister Alma Rango Gardens, I'm sorry, I read that, are new senior citizen houses in the block, but the scaffolds are closer to the Fifth Avenue. These members believe that the scaffolds are dangerous around the graveyard shift at 12 a.m. in the morning because the scaffolds may conceal drugs and prostitution trafficking. And the last issue is still a bad issue. It's on the M60 bus. Now, I don't know too many of you who use the M60 bus that goes out to LaGuardia, but there's just chaos on that bus. You know, we have a Metro card that at one time allowed us to transfer from the one bus, I'm on the one bus, to the M60. I go to a store in Queens, one stop. They decided to make it a select bus. So now we pay, and we have to get a select slip to go on the bus that nobody pays attention to. Half the people go in on the side doors. The other half will come in the front door. The drivers don't pay attention. Now they say on that card that is a transfer. But when I come back, when I leave Queens on the M60 bus to come back to the #1 bus, I cannot use that slip. The little slip that they give you, I have to pay an additional, cost. So we need to have all these, problems, resolved. The resolutions is to give fines out to people who violate deadlines for having cracks and deadlines for not taking the scaffolds down. And also we can offer employment opportunities to teach new people how to do these jobs efficiently. Thank you.
Now we're going to go ahead and have our first roll call.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to do a quick roll call. Cicely Harris. John Lynch. Charles Powell. Jennifer Prince. Christina Curry, present. Michael Downey, I'm here. Marquise Harrison. Kevin Bitterman. Michelle Booker. Tuesday Brooks. Deneen Brown Blackman, excuse me. Melvin Christian. Dan Clark. Jamila Clark. Joshua Clennon. Ibrahima Diafune. Karen Dixon. Lisa Downing. Dr. Dukes. Troy Geathers. Donna Gill. Deborah Gilliard. Stanley Gleaton. George Harrell. George Harrell. Setu Jamel Hart. Mr. Hart. Join the meeting. Leroy Holmes. Karen Ann Ori. Victoria Horsford. Charles Johnson. Stephen Johnson. Henrietta Lyle. Sophia Nam. Tamara Martin. Ebony Mason. Thank you. Crystal McKay. Dominique Mejia. LaShonda Myers. Yes. Okay. Mary Moss.
Here.
Barbara Nelson. Carlene Pinto. Okay, excused. Jerika Richardson. Maurice Sessoms. Crystal Ship. Dr. Smith. Dr. Taylor. Makita Thompson. Danny Tyson. Raquel Vasquez. Chanel Washington. Deborah Yates.
Present.
Thank you, Deborah.
So, we're going to do, next up is the minutes adoption for March, May, June 2018. Before you ask about April, that was my mistake. I thought I submitted it. They don't have it, so that was on me. I will make sure they have it though. So, minutes adoption for March, May, June.
They're in the packets. The March, May, June are in the packet.
Can we have a motion? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you.
Agenda adoption for 2018.
We have a motion? Thank you. All in favor? Common consent. And here's the chairperson, Ms. Harris.
I give a very quick report. Thank you so much, Christina. And, oh, yes. Really quickly, I'm so glad to see everyone here. I'm so glad to see so many people that come out for our first September meeting. Everyone looks well, refreshed, melanin popping. So I really appreciate everyone coming out today. Really quickly, we had a pretty busy summer. Shatik will go ahead and give you those highlights. One of the main things that we did, we said goodbye to Steffi Portillo. So she was one of our community associates that we had in the office, one of our very hard workers. We will miss her. We are missing her right now. Shatik, thank you so much for all that you're doing, because he's the only one in the office. He is holding it down. He is. We still have Juanita, but Juanita's been on vacation for the past 2 weeks. So all the packets, all the work you see for this meeting right here was Shatik. And everything that has happened for the past 2 weeks was Shatik. So thank you so much. Thank you for attending all the things that you've done all this summer, the block parties and everything. I know you have a great report, so I'm gonna let you do that. But thank you. So in regards to our vacancy, we have a job placement posting out there. So we haven't gotten many resumes. So I don't know what that's about. I hope y'all want to work with us. I don't know, but we have a job posting. We have it available in a paper form in our office, but it is online. It's on Indeed. And if you contact me or Shatik, we will go ahead and send it to you via email. If you need a paper form and you don't have a way to get it electronically, I will meet you on the corner to get it. So we want to have a very good selection of resumes to look over. It's not a bad job, just a few things about it. It's a pretty good salary, guys, so I don't know why we're not seeing more folks out there. It's all right, I know, but we trying to grow our budget, so hopefully it will be a little bit better. But it's between 75 and 80,000 right now. Hopefully there'll be room for growth with that budget in the next coming years. So we hope to get more money for our staff. But You'll be working with us and the board, answering to whoever is the chairperson, me right now. And you'll be working with 48 or 49 wonderful people. So please contact us about that. We definitely want to get some really good resumes to go over. The job posting will be open until September 21st. September 21st, that's when it will close. So we will accept applications up till September 21st. And after that, we will have a couple days of interviews. We've been interviewing all the way through the summer. So we have a couple of applications, but we are looking for more. And hopefully we will have some candidates for our executive committee meeting, which will be on September 26th. I know that is a conflict right now, but we are looking maybe at moving the executive committee meeting. But right now it is September 26th. Those candidates will come to the executive committee meeting and then be at the October meeting for a vote by the board. So we hope to have someone in place as our district manager by October. So that is our plan. So please send in your resumes. Very quickly, the reason why September 26th is a conflict, it is African Day at Gracie Mansion, and the community is invited. So please, if you want to attend, it is open for everyone to attend. I think it's from 6 to 8 o'clock at Gracie Mansion, which is the mayor's mansion. A bunch of us went to the Harlem Week at Gracie Mansion, and we had a great time. So if you have not been to Gracie Mansion, the mayor does know how to throw a party. So I suggest you contact me or Shatik, contact the district office and put your name down, and that will serve as your RSVP, and you will be on the list to attend African Day at Gracie Mansion. Again, that's September 26th. Just really quickly, a rundown of some of the things we've been doing. Again, Grandparents' Day is coming up. We want you to come. That's at National Black Theater. We have got several RSVPs, but we're always looking for more. It's going to be a treat. It's from 2 to 5 at National Black Theater. So please come out and support. Also, we've been meeting with Joseph Rivers, and I know a lot of you know him in Harlem, professional arts, and we just have been excited about extending the reach of our Arts and Culture Committee. So we've been in talks with him, and hopefully we'll be partnering with him and getting young people involved in the arts and have more of a reach throughout Harlem as we bring different arts and different forms and different genres to Harlem through the Harlem Arts Alliance. So we have been meeting with him. Also, I know you all are looking for an update on SpaceWorks. Thank you so much, Athena, for that update. So we are in constant contact with them. I know we had a very heated meeting in June, I think that was. It was, yes, somebody remembers. I remember too, because there's a lot going on. But it was a very heated meeting, but they heard us. And that is what this community board is about. When we come together, we get things done. People are listening to us. And I think that's the really important thing that we all need to remember. It's not about, we come together for one agenda. And at that point, that's the point we have to band together so people will listen to us, so the electeds will listen to us, so the people who control the money and control these buildings that they are putting upon us will listen to us. So they heard us. So we are in constant contact with them. We will be letting you know the next meeting. We hopefully will be meeting in September or October, and then we'll have a community meeting that will follow that. So please be on the lookout for that. Yes, ma'am.
Regarding SpaceWorks, just you said that community has heard you. Community has not heard you. Community is not in agreement with SpaceWorks coming into March. And I think before you have another meeting with the board, just to give you a community by SpaceWorks.
So maybe wasn't clear, but I believe, I'm sorry if I wasn't clear, I believe that SpaceWorks has heard us, has heard the community, and right now it is at a standstill. And they are going back to the drawing board, they are going back to the mayor's office to talk about different things that can come from the 125th Street Bar that again honors that space, honors the history of that space, honors the vendors that are in that space. So it's going to be a completely different concept that'll come into the 1251.
And this is as of September or as of October?
So it's still we're still talking about it. We had a meeting in June where we talked about it, and they took it back to the drawing board. Everything's back to the drawing board right now. So when they come to us, then that's when we come to you.
Thank you. Just to add that we had the commissioner's presence actually there, which is different from the meeting that we had here, right? The commissioner of the Department of Cultural Affairs. The part of the discussion was about making sure that this wasn't a conversation that was just on the side of arts and culture, but that embodied and included the businesses. So them going back to the drawing board was to look at how they can refashion what's done next. So that means with the inclusion of businesses in the way that this board has advocated for. Now, Spaceworks may still be there. We don't know. That's up to the EDC and the city to decide. But what we did agree on is that they are a model who's been doing well on the arts and culture and the technology side. What we didn't agree on is that the community's opposition, which was largely around making sure this remains a space that honors our businesses, is still right? So that's what we're pushing for. The stakeholder meetings we're talking about is bringing all that back to the table and asking them if they would be considered RFP. Right, because that would mean, in order to honor the businesses, potentially bringing someone else in, maybe one of our own, or something that comes out of its body, an advisory group, something that would take it to the next level. So that's where we are.
Because at the June meeting, what we didn't, a lot of people didn't know, EDC promised they would come back to this board with everything they were going to do in Denmark. They didn't do it. They went and issued an RFP to this group. And so I'm glad to hear that our board stopped it, because there is some continuity here, and this is one thing we can talk about, because there's a lot of things that have happened before that perhaps we doesn't know. But they promised us, EDC promised us that we would be involved in every step of the way, and they did not follow through. So I'm glad we did that. Thank you.
The city. It may or may not. Okay. Really quickly, we did enjoy Harlem Eat Up this summer. Some key things came from the Harlem Eat Up is how the park is affected by the Harlem Eat Up. Previously to its setting up, there's a lot of construction in the park that prohibits children from playing and prohibits some of the softball games from playing and just general activities of enjoying the park. And then after Harlem Eat Up, if you've ever seen pictures, it's kind of disturbing the amount of grass that is like actually missing and the things that need to be resodded because of Harlem Eat Up and because of the time of year that it happens when things are actually growing early spring, and it actually halts some of the beautification from the park. So we're in talks right now about how do we still have Harlem Eat Up that brings so many businesses money and opportunity to be exposed to so many different people, but at the same time we need to protect the parks that our children enjoy and that we enjoy on a daily basis. So we are in touch with CB9 and a lot of the businesses in Harlem Eat Up to look at the issues that are stemming from that event. And lastly, two quick things. I think Shatika is going to talk about the sanitation meeting that you put together. We are still in talks with sanitation. As you know, this summer has been horrid with all the pickups, with all the rats that are running through. It has been a problem. I myself have called 311 several times, myself on my own block. So we are in talks again with sanitation. We will have another meeting. I believe that the meeting that we first had was productive. We were heard, but at the same time, I feel that nothing was done. So that is the problem with the issue. There are no more trash cans. The trash cans are not back. We have asked for certain things to be replaced, and they have not been. Although below 110 has plenty of trash cans and plenty of pickups, but that's another situation. But we definitely want to make sure that we are being heard, and I believe we are scheduling another meeting for sanitation. And lastly, we are still looking at the charter revision. We are still doing that. We are looking for people to speak up on September 27th when the city council has their hearing. So if you would like to be part of the charter revision conversation, I believe First Vice Chair John Lynch will be heading that up. I know that a lot of the community boards are submitting letters in regards to the mayor's proposal for term limits and things that will affect the community board, especially with land use issues, and we still need to be heard on those things. But also, we want to look at the charter as a whole. Don't be so confined to just the community board issues, but how does the charter as a whole affect us as a people in Harlem? So we need to look at it as a whole, and this is our time to do it. So September 27th, there will be a hearing, and we want everyone to come out. But before then, we will have meetings to kind of give ourselves an agenda or a plan of the things that we feel are important for the charter revision.
My name is Shatik Mitchell. I'm the interim district manager of Manhattan Community Board 10. For those of you who do not know me, hello.
Well, I'd like to take this time to thank the Manhattan Borough President, the Honorable Gail Brewer, and her office for giving me this opportunity to serve the community, which I'm a constituent of, and I'm truly grateful for. I would also like to thank the Manhattan Community Board 10 Chair, Ms. Cicely Harris, and all of the officers, board members, committees, and their respective chairs equally for this opportunity. I would like to thank the district office staff that I work closely with every day. In particular, Ms. Juanita Anderson, because she's the only one there right now. And I know that she's probably watching us as she's on her vacation in Bali, Indonesia, on Facebook Live, right? So before she left, she said, Shatik, I left you with assignments, things to do to cover the office. Don't call me, don't text me, don't email me, don't Facebook Live me, don't FaceTime me, don't WhatsApp me. I'm on vacation. So Juanita will be back this coming Monday. So, you know, we're a tag team, we work it out, so everything is good on that end. Last but not least, I thank everybody else, the community board, borough president, everybody. I like to thank the entire Harlem community for being resilient, for being passionate, and for the continued dedication to making things better in our neighborhood. As we reconvene for the summer break, I will provide a quick snapshot of some of the events that have transpired in our district office as well as our community. Since June, as Chair Cicely Harris has mentioned, we have went from a staff of 4 employees to 2 with the departure of our district manager and community associate. Despite only having 2 full-time staff, the district office has managed to make it work and make sure that the office has coverage at all times. And for those board members who have chipped in on lunch breaks and stuff, like Deneen Brown Blackman, she works across the street, so I said, Deneen, I gotta go get some lunch, I gotta get out to this office. So she came in and sat with us for an hour one time. Also, Mari Moss has come by the office as well and helped and volunteered to help out as well. This summer, we employed 2 rising high school seniors through the city's Summer Youth Employment Program. Hopefully, both of our participants have learned valuable life skills as they head off to college next year. One of the kids came in, actually, young guy from St. Nicholas Housing Projects, and the first day of school, he had on a t-shirt, pair of shorts, and a pair of Jordans. And I looked at him, I said, you coming to work or you coming to play basketball, right? And he looked at me, and he really had no clue what I was saying. I said, brother, I know it's a summer job and it's a check, but you don't have to work. And, you know, I straightened him up, but not right away. So the first week he was there, you know, he was sleeping at the desk, you know, he partying late night. So I said, let me get your mother's telephone number. So I got his mother's telephone number. I took pictures of him sleeping. I FaceTimed his mother. And she told him to wake yourself up. And you know, by the end, if you go on our Instagram page and you take a look at the pictures on there, you'll see a picture of the 2 interns. You'll see he has on a nice shirt, slacks. So we had to whip him into shape. But when a lot of people say, you know, the community board gets a lot of flack about, things that sometimes we don't have any control over. But the things that we do have control over, we try to make the best of it. Speaking of interns and making the best of a situation, I'm proud to say that we participate in the NIMIC program. The NIMIC program helps with people who are disadvantaged. They may not have their college degree, they may not have a GED, but they're trying to enter the workforce. They don't come with a lot of qualifications. I've actually interviewed people, they didn't even have a resume, so we need to help them, get up to speed with their resumes and stuff like that. So currently in our office, we have two ladies, young ladies. One is 18 and one is 19. Both are single mothers. One has a child that's 2, and the other one has a child that's 4 and 2 years old. And this is another example. Like before Juanita left, I told her, I'm gonna really need help. And the interns that I got, I don't know if they're gonna be able to help me honestly, because they didn't really have the qualification, they weren't up to speed. But then after speaking with Juanita for a while, I realized the purpose of the program was that we're not so much getting help from them, because I just needed it for these 2 weeks that Juanita was gone, but actually, how can we help the interns? And when I took that perspective, it was something that, to be proud of. When you walk in the office every day and the ladies are dressed professionally and they're learning skills. So I'm glad to say that we're part of that process as well. Now I will just give a quick rundown of some of the events that transpired over the summer. Quite a few have been mentioned already, but I'll give you a general rundown. So on June 25th, 2018, we had our emergency sanitation meeting, which is still a work in progress, by the way. Some trash bins have been replaced, and I have been working with Adrian Felton from Chis James' office to see if there's anything that the Public Advocate's office can do to get involved, because when she found out about the issue, she personally approached me, and she said that she would make some phone calls, so I'm still in contact with her in regards to that. We'll also be inviting the Department of Sanitation back to our District Service Cabinet meeting this month, and I want to thank our community member, Ms. Jolinda Cogan, who has really helped out to put this issue on the map. She has really spread the word, and this story has ballooned from the streets of Harlem to major media outlets like ABC News, Fox News, NBC, and even the New York Times has written an article on this pressing issue this month. So far in our estimation, the Department of Sanitation has not provided a satisfactory reason for the removal of the trash bins, but we will be following up on this issue. At the District Service Cabinet meeting, when the Department of Sanitation comes, I will be pressing to find out the actual numbers and the statistics, because we need to know how many trash bins have been removed, how many have been replaced. A lot of times, the community, we complain, but we don't know the numbers. We don't know if this is an economic thing or is the Department of Sanitation cash strapped, but they're not communicating to that, so we just left to leave, make our own assumptions. So we'll try to get down to the bottom of it in our District Service Cabinet, and hopefully that meeting will shed more light on the issue and the problem. Yes, Ms. McKay?
We discussed the garbage system front of like Hamilton, in front of where their entrance is. Did y'all discuss that?
That was a constituent complaint, but because it's nature, and they're actually the constituents that live in the building are putting the trash there themselves. They've designated that as a place to put trash right in front of the door. I don't know if it's legal. I have to find out for NYCHA to put their trash on the curb. I'm not sure though.
My recommendation is that we set up a meeting with the mayor. I just told him something he left. I have his card. And I've been in contact with Stacy on this issue. And I think we gotta go further than the sanitation, because she refused to go to letter for her to come to our meeting. And as of today, we had no response. So the mayor hides and the mayor can fire. So we need to put it over there.
short for time. I'm gonna really try to speed up the presentation. So on July 26, 2018, we went to 95 Lenox Ave Tenant Association meeting. I was there, Charles Powell was there, also Shauna Armoroff from Senator Brian Benjamin's office was there. They're doing a major remodeling at 95 Lenox Avenue. They're actually resurrecting a brand new market rate building on the property that's already there. That was a tenants meeting to basically ensure that with all the new capital improvements that are going on at 95 Lenox, that their rent will not increase exponentially or extraordinarily during that time. So the owner actually came to that meeting and he put it in writing that for the next 40 years, the apartment housing stock would be affordable and would be rent regulated. Yeah, on July 26, 2018, I attended the New York City Votes Campaign Finance Board registration meeting for civic engagement. Took a class and course in that. So going forward, the Community Board 10 looks to have some registration drives. Also, we have voter registration slips on the front desk. If you haven't already registered vote, go out there and get those. Primary election date, September 13th. Also, last day to deliver absentee ballots in person. The general election is November 6, 2018. Moving on, July 27th, NBPO special reception to welcome the Une of Ife, one of the major kings of Nigeria. I was there. A few community board members were there. We enjoyed the event. If you guys ever seen the movie Coming to America, that's exactly what it's like. There's no exaggeration. They came in with a motorcade. They came in with dancers. They came in with conga players. They came in with $100,000 Rolexes, and I'm not playing gold chains. If you never seen Black excellence and Black royalty, that you missed it, because that was it. And the whole purpose of his meeting was he wanted to foster collaboration between African nations and African Americans in New York City. He says, we're trading with everybody. We're trading with the Chinese, we're trading with the Swiss, but we're not trading with African Americans. And he wanted to extend his hand and let people know to build these bridges, because there are economic opportunities for those of us who are struggling in Central Harlem, and we need economic improvements. And actually, I was speaking with Athena today. I know we do have a rep in the borough president's office who handles the constituent affairs for the African community. What's his name? Alassane Diop. So if anyone needs information about getting the connection to get your money out in Africa, go to the borough president's office and speak with this gentleman. And I'm pretty sure you guys can talk to Athena about that. Moving quickly. Central Park Conservancy. Central Park's pool and ice rink is set to undergo a major makeover funded by the Central Park Conservancy and City. The Lasco pool and the ice rink is set to undergo a $150 million major makeover. Funded collectively by the Central Park Conservancy and the city. The pool and rink will close for construction in 2020 for 3 years. The refurbishment will better connect the North Woods and the Harlem Mare, both currently blocked from another by the rink. So I know that there's going to be a lot of concerns about people who, the summertime, the pool, that's one of the biggest pools in Central Harlem. Also for the kids who do hockey and ice skating in the winter months. The good thing is that this is not going into effect until 2020. It'll be out for 3 years. So for the next 2 years, we can find different things that we can do. Anybody say something?
Is this rink gold plated?
No, but actually I took a tour, and what they're trying to do is, if you walk in the Central Park right now, you have behind the pool, there's like big water coolers and tanks, and it's not really the aesthetic of what Central Park is. Central Park for many city dwellers is a place where you want to go and get away from the buildings. And what they're doing is cosmetic in nature, and it gives you the feeling that you're in the outdoors. So the way the pool in the rink looks right now, it doesn't really look like it's part of Central Park. It's just plopped there on 110th Street. So the design and the makeover, I think it'll be really good. I've seen some, it does not gold plated, but it's a lot of improvement. All right, moving on. NYPD National Night Out was on August 7th. 28th Precinct and the 32nd Precinct, they put on a summer stage, had a lot of events on the streets for the community, great thing. Next, Dominican Heritage Celebration at Gracie Mansion, which a lot of the board members attended, that was August 9th. Public hearing on the historic district, which was already discussed, so I can pass that. Councilman Bill Perkins' participatory budget meeting, which was already discussed. I will be sending out an e-blast tomorrow just because I got new information on it. It's a $1 million budget for capital improvements, so if you guys know anyone that wants to be involved in the process, reach out to the district office or send Councilman Bill Perkins' office for more information. Assemblyman Al Taylor's HDFC meeting, which was addressed already. The ESI initiative. Mr. Byers, the guy in the wheelchair, I actually invited him today to speak because he called up the letter that he read. I actually saw that letter and I told him to come in and speak his piece, and he's not here, he had to leave, but I just wanted to say that Community Board 10, we did get a lot of flack for that as well because there was no wheelchair lift or elevators for the disabled, but I wanted to say that we supported it because we had no control over it. This was a state thing that was done by the MTA, did not require a community board review, nor did it require city review. However, with our letter of support, we did have recommendations, and the recommendations was for elevators, and it was for accessibility for the disabled and seniors. So for the people that are saying that we haven't done anything, we did what we could do. We can't control the bigger powers that's on top, but what little bit we could do, we did voice that opinion, and I walked through the location, I think it was yesterday morning, and it looks beautiful and it's great. And the community likes it, and it was only 5 months, and it was on budget. And the same thing for 145th Street Station, it's on budget and it's on time. And let's see, and lastly, the African American Day Parade, September 16th, we would like the whole community board to attend, even though the parade starts at 1 p.m., because you know how we are. We like to be there at 12:30, so no one's late, and get your free t-shirts, so you can march in the parade and we can be strong. And lastly, I would like to thank the community board members who have personally checked out and helped me throughout this transition period, through the summer. Anybody who gave me a call, sent me an email, gave me literature to read. I literally received books and pamphlets from former Chair Henrietta Lau, showing this is how you do the job. You have to be well informed. You have to be committed. It's an endless job. You take this job home with you. And I was telling Athena, this is my last thing I'm going to say. I was telling Athena, I ran into her at Chipotle this afternoon, and I said I was really impressed by Gail Brewer and Dr. Hazel Dukes. I saw her out campaigning for Cuomo a couple of weeks ago at Sylvia's, and for these people to be resilient, at this age, 7 days a week, I take in the work home with them. It inspires me because I'm a young man, I'm trying to make my mark as well, and if they're doing it, I can see the vision, I can see where I'm headed. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shatik. I'm going to go ahead and move on into the report for parliamentarian Marquise Harrison, where he will explain the election committee election.
Good evening. This is not a report, but simply reading of the bylaws so that we are supposed to have an election. Article 4, election of officers, requires that we will, as of this year, have an election in November, the day after our midterm elections. Okay? So the community board will also have elections. With that said, we have an election committee now. And I'm just going to read the duties and responsibilities of the election committee so that we're all very clear about what the election committee is supposed to do. Election committee, section B. 1, the election committee shall be elected at the September meeting of every other year from from among those nominated either prior to or at the September board meeting. All nominations from the floor must be confirmed at the meeting by the nominee either orally or in writing. 2, the 5 nominees who receive the highest number of votes shall make up the election committee, provided each receives at least a majority. 3, the election committee shall be tasked with soliciting nominations for board officer positions and with conducting the election of the officers at the November meeting. The committee will not make any recommendation regarding any officer candidates. 4, the election committee may collect statements and biographies from the candidates at the discretion of the board. 5, no member of the election committee may run for a board officer position during their time on the election committee. And 6, the members of the election committee shall select its chairperson. So this is the task of the election committee, as this came when we changed our bylaws and took a lot of those recommendations that we didn't have a nominating committee anymore. So, when we are in the voting period, we'll then have those nominations for election committee members, and then we have several ballots in place in case we have to do more than one round of voting. Board members are reminded, voting in business sessions requires that you've been present for 2 roll call votes. Thank you.
As there are no committee reports or announcements at this time, we are going to go into our second roll call.
Good evening again. When you hear your name called, answer present or here. Cicely Harris. John Lynch. Charles Powell. Jennifer Prince. Christina Curry. Michael Downey, I'm here. Marquise Harrison. Thank you. Kevin Ditterman. Michelle Booker. Tuesday Brooks. Deneen Brown Blackman. Deneen Brown Blackman. Melvin Christian. Dan Clark. Jamila Clark.
Present.
Joshua Clennon. Ibrahim Diafune. Karen Dixon. Lisa Downey. Dr. Dukes. Troy Gathers. Donna Gill. Deborah Gilliard.
I saved the last 3.
Thank you. Stanley Glayton. C2 Janelle Hart. George Harrell. Liebert Holmes. Karen Ann Boy. Yes. Victoria Horsford. Charles Johnson. Stephen Johnson. Henrietta Lyle. Sophia Mann. Tamara Martin. Ebony Mason. Crystal McKay. Dominique Mejia. Mary Moss. Barbara Nelson. LaShonda Myers. Carlene Pinto. Ms. Pinto, excuse. Crystal Ship. Dr. Smith. Dr. Taylor. Makita Thompson. Danny Tyson. Raquel Vasquez. Chanel Washington. And Deborah Yates.
Here.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so just so that we're very clear, board members, if you would, again, if you you're considered present if you were present for both roll calls. If you were not, then that means you are not officially present. You should not be voting. Just want to be clear. You place your name. Obviously, you have the ballot, and it allows you to put 5 names. So we will take nominations, or you may nominate yourself at this time to be an election committee member. There are 5 places on that committee, but I just want to also stress to everyone that if you anticipate or possibly are considering running for a position on the executive board, then you should not be accepting a position on the election committee, okay? You cannot be on the election committee and also run for office, all right? So think long and hard before you say yes, okay? At this time, the floor is open. And also, let me just say the process. Okay, so let me just go over some things. Okay, so the process will be this. There actually should have been 7 lines so that you can write 1 through 7 on the ballot, okay? Because there may be more than 5 people. Now, if there are 5 people nominated and that's it, then that's it. But if there are more than 5 people, there should be 7 spaces so you can write 1 through 7. What we will do is once we take the nominations, I will entertain a motion to close the floor for nominations, and then we will ask if the members of the board who are nominated would like to just say for less than 60 seconds, or 60 seconds the most, they would say why they want to run. They don't have to, no one has to say anything, but if you choose to, we'll give you that opportunity to say to the board why you believe you are fit to be on the election committee. Okay? The floor is open at this time for nominations. Again, please nominate yourself, or you can nominate someone else. And I'm going to take the names, as long as I'm going to just ask the person to verify that they accept running. Okay? Floor is open.
Can we do multiple nominations?
Sure. The floor is open. Kevin Bitterman, do you accept?
Yes, I accept.
Okay. Members who've been nominated for the election committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any objection? Okay. If there's no objection at this time, we will close the nominations with the 10 names, and we're going to restate those names at this time, just so that we're all clear. Actually, I think, do we have a marker? Yeah.
Actually, Dr. Dukes has given me the signal that I should come down and say hello, and I'll always do what Dr. Dukes says. She's one of the founding members of our Community Advisory Board. The Toro College of Osteopathic Medicine and our sister college upstairs, the Toro College of Pharmacy, are proud citizens of Harlem. We are part of this community. We are very involved in the community. We are glad and happy to open our facilities to the Community Advisory Board and any other group that needs a place to meet. We're a small school. It's part of a big organization. Toro College and University System has almost 19,000 students worldwide. 270 medical students and 200 pharmacy students in this building. Another 270 medical students out in the city and the surrounding area, seeing patients, growing to be doctors. I want to report some important news that one of the mission statements, one of the goals of the Toro College of Osteopathic Medicine, when it was founded 11 years ago, our birthday was yesterday, was that we were going to increase the number of minorities who are practicing medicine. And we've done a good job, but this year we did a great job. Almost 1/3 of our incoming class of students, they started a couple weeks ago, are minority students. We couldn't be prouder of that. Our goal is to keep growing that number. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to go home because my kids have been texting me that they want to start with their homework. They started that today. But thank you all for being here. You guys have a terrific evening. Thank you.
We came here and we had set up this program, and we have paid, two of our students ran into financial problems, and we were able, they were 2 African-American students, and we were able to pay out their tuition through Turo and the money that our advisory council, so they did the job. And I had the pleasure to sit on the board to interview, and I tell you, we got a gem, Dr. Forster. He's doing a job, he's out into our community, he's really getting himself involved in it. So thank you so much.
Jason, still trying to get your name.
36 ballots, which means that a majority is 50% plus 1. So we needed, a person needed to get 19 votes in order to be elected. So we had 4 candidates that did receive more than 19 votes. And that is Dr. Hazel Dukes with 30, Donna Gill with 26, Charles Johnson with 25, and Kevin Bitterman with 19. So we need a second round to get one more person. So whoever gets the most votes in the second round is going to get a majority. And that would be if they continue to be willing to run. That would be Dominique Mejia, Michaela Thompson, Joshua Clement, Stephen Johnson, Sophia Mann, and LaShonda Myers. So we did not get anyone with a majority. 32 ballots were cast, so under our bylaws you need 17 votes, which is half plus 1. I'm going to read off the score just in case anyone wants to not keep their name in. Dominique Mejia had 11 votes, Stephen Johnson had 7, Joshua Clennon had 5, Michaela Thompson had 4, Sophia Mann had 4, and LaShonda Myers had 1. So, okay, so can we indicate who wants to run for the third round? Dominique, you're in. Joshua, you're in. Michaela, you are withdrawn. Sophia Mann, you would. I'm sorry? You're gonna stay in, okay. Sophia Mann. Yes. Stephen Johnson is staying in. Lashonda. Okay, Lashonda's going out, okay. Final vote, we did have a candidate who got a majority this time, and that was Dominique Mejia. Thank you to all who ran and participated.